Uh, all right, so we have the brains and the bronze and the beauty of ZZ Takeoff. I'm not going to say which one's which, but Heber, you're my favorite. So, and then some of the original pieces to PlanSwift when it started back in what was it, '05 or so?
'07 is when we actually went on the market as a official product.
Nice. Well, do you guys want to introduce yourself and what you're doing and you're part of the ZZ Takeoff software?
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm Heber Allred and original founder of zzTakeoff, CEO, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we originally founded PlanSwift, and now we're back. We'll get into the details of that, but we're not affiliated with PlanSwift now. But we'll get back into the details. But go ahead. Uh,
Yeah, I'm Darren Thomas. So I've been with ZZ Takeoff since I think around November of 2024. These guys let me know they were jumping back in, and there was just no way. I worked with them at PlanSwift, and there was just no way I could say no. So happy to be on board here. And I was with PlanSwift for about 9 years, from about 2008 to 2000, end of 2016. So yeah, I'm just grateful to be back in the industry with these guys.
Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm Derek Del Quadro, and I found PlanSwift back when I think it was Plan Tech. It was a long time ago. I was doing bids I was a project manager here in Salt Lake, and I was trying to measure a crazy driveway with lots of complex areas, and found PlanSwift on like page 30 of Google. It was buried way back in Google, and every time I kept calling tech support, it was the same guy answered. It seemed like it was Heber. Same guy answering the phone every time. This tech support, this sales. And I called him so much. He's eventually offered me a position. He said, "Hey, you want to come help us get it started?" So we kind of, so we started in the basement, and he's been patient to grow with us, and it's just been a fun experience with PlanSwift. And now ZZ is just like stepping out of a time machine. It's like we're right back into where we were 10 years ago. It's crazy.
It was a lot of fun back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun now too. It's we're talking to a lot of our old customers, and the energy you get just from talking to these guys, they're happy we're back, and it's cool to be part of it again. So
Well, I have to squash some rumors right off the bat because there's rumors about when you guys started PlanSwift back in the day that it was actually created by aliens and you captured them and you took their information. Is that true?
We can neither confirm nor deny.
We are the aliens, aren't we?
Yeah. It's been a really fun journey, and the whole story. There's so many side stories too. Like the whole thing has been a blast, and we kind of caught the early days of a trend going from paper plans to online, and when you catch a wave like that, it's just like hang on for the ride. It's
Yeah.
just incredible.
from paper to digital was the first transition, right?
Yeah. Sorry, what did I say?
Online. That's where we're
Yeah,
at
sorry.
now. Yeah, now we're going
Paper to
online.
digital. My bad. My bad. Paper to digital. But there's another one going from just from desktop to online that we're about to catch here too.
Yeah, that's the big wave right now.
So
Yeah, it is. It really is. My start with PlanSwift was I had been an estimator my whole life, and I had a landscape company that really took a nasty dive, lost everything in 2008, 2009.
dang.
So I applied for jobs, and I had some offers in different parts of the country for good money, but I didn't want to leave where I was at because my family was there and we were raising our kids and so on. So I started estimating for these people online. I didn't even know about on-screen takeoff. And so when I finally found PlanSwift, it was because one, it was affordable, and two, it had like I think it was 69 or $79 a month type of lease type of deal. And that actually saved my bacon because I couldn't afford, I think it was ProEst at the time that was out there.
Yeah.
And just having that, and then all the support that came with it was amazing. You have to kind of thank people like Aaron Watts and Mike for all the videos and all the help throughout the days.
Yeah, that is great.
And yeah, it's just been a real treat dealing with it. But over the years, PlanSwift has become behind the ball, so to speak. as
Yeah.
far as where it's at now and not being able to do anything on in the cloud. And I think that's just crippling PlanSwift. And with you guys starting zzTakeoff, with that brain of your guy, that's floating around, and I guess it's Heber's head. Who I don't get
Well, we have a
Right.
whole team of people, but
It's
yeah,
Heber. He's humble.
Nice.
He's definitely Heber's brain.
we got a team of
Yeah.
guys.
Like,
And there's a lot of I mean, really, I'm just a translator between customer feedback and the development team. I mean, and I'm one of the developers as well, but that's the part I really like to play and really enjoy playing is, what we build is really driven by the community. The users say, hey, can we do this? Hey, can we do that? And, to be honest, in the early days, before we actually launched officially as PlanSwift, the idea was just to go digital and get the paper plans in the computer. So when we started, we never even had the intention to takeoffs was not even on the table. Wasn't even on the table. Estimating wasn't even on the table.
The
So
old
this
line
is a tribute to the customers kind of driving it. So, sorry, go ahead. What was that, Derek?
It was just our first trade show. Our big sign said the easiest way to manage and share plans.
Yeah.
And Digital Canal ProEst actually walked by us and they're laughing. They're like, "Oh, you guys do store plans online? That's cool."
Yeah.
You don't do any takeoff or anything.
So,
Yeah.
So in one of our first trade shows, this is just early days. We're exploring, experimenting, and we had probably like 8 guys from a big nationwide lumber supplier kind of gather around our little small section of a booth where we're just showing how to zoom in and zoom out. The ability to just get the plans in the computer. We had a big scanner. We actually sold scanners for a while.
Yeah.
You just scan them in, the big wide format scanners. So the whole thing kind of evolved over time, and those 8 guys standing around the booth, they're like, "This is pretty cool. Can you make it so I could click on points on the corners of the room and get square footages?" And we had, it's like, well, yeah, let's do it. So when we got back from that trade show, we started adding features, but the whole idea of going into Takeoff was driven by customers kind of pushing us that direction. And then ultimately it's like, well, I'm feeding this data into a spreadsheet. Maybe we could do some formulas right in the software and figure out like, okay, we've got some, line distances, we've got some point counts, we've got some areas. How do we apply maybe some formulas to that, get quantities of materials? And so kind of evolved step by step.
Yeah, I remember digitizer tablets roll out JITCO, I think it was JTCO.
TCO, yeah.
And that was in late 90s, late 80s, early 90s. In fact, when I started my estimating business, like I said, I didn't know about digital takeoffs. So I went and bought a JITCO rollout. I paid a pretty good amount of money.
$3,000.
One of the reasons I went with PlanSwift because they had that interface to the digitizer boards.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was talking to somebody and he's like,
Yeah.
"Well, why don't you just bring in the plans?" And I'm like, "What?"
Well, we actually became a distributor for GTCO for a while there, and I don't remember if we sold some of the digitizer boards, but they were where we were buying our big large format scanners for a while.
You had the roll-up digitizer board, I think. We're selling the roll-up digitizer board.
Yeah.
We integrated with that. I had forgotten that we had integrated with those because that was kind of a little blip of time before we went all digital.
Yeah, I don't know if we're dating ourselves or not.
Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah.
I remember those digitizer boards. Weren't they like $2,000 or something like that? Because I remember selling plants was saying, look, you don't have to buy a digitizer. You can just pay $950 and pay half the amount. And you get this. You don't have to do the paper. And my God, it's been a long time since I've heard digitizer.
At the time of doing on-screen takeoff, I remember my boss when I showed him PlanSwift for the first time because I went down to meet Heber and showed my boss PlanSwift, and I was like, "This is a great program. I just do it on I can measure stuff on my computer screen." He said, "What am I going to do? Put a ruler and a highlighter up to my screen? Or I put white out on my screen?"
Yeah.
I just sat there and I was like, "Wow, this is brand new to this industry. I can't believe it's so."
Eric, you must remember the scented markers.
Yeah.
Clicker counters, wheels. Yeah. Oh, goodness sakes. Yeah, we've come a long ways.
I remember helping Derek do a takeoff one time on paper. Remember, D, we stayed up till like 4 in the
Yeah, all
morning.
night
And
measuring
this
it
was
two, three
before
times.
PlanSwift, and I was like, "Oh, I can't do this." I was falling asleep. I was like, "I don't know how people do this." So
Oh,
when I
it's
saw
horrible.
PlanSwift, I
Because
saw the
I
value.
didn't want to bankrupt the company I'm working for. I wanted my numbers to be accurate. And they just threw it at me and said, "Here, do a takeoff." And so, okay. So, we measuring, do sit up all night, measuring plans 2, 3 times. We go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then when I found plan switches, oh man, if it's colored, it's counted was the rule back then.
Yeah.
If it's colored, it's counted.
Yep.
Like I saw the amount of money we saved during printing. We actually got a call from the printing company, SBR here locally, and they said, "Did you guys go out of business or what? Like, what happened to you guys?" Because our printing costs went to nothing. When we started using PlanSwift, and so it was just an awesome change. And now everything's moving online, and so there's this same big shift in the industry right now. It's going from paper to paperless. Now we're going from desktop to cloud.
Yeah.
And it's interesting all the different things that he was creating in ZZ that add a whole new economy to takeoffs that you didn't even think about, like doing takeoffs at the same time on the same page. That introduces so many new options for people.
It's really fun. Just really quick, when we started with PlanSwift, on-screen takeoff was the other main brand, and there was other softwares out there, but we were just a tiny company, and just it was so far out there to compete with these other big companies, and it was just crazy. In a 6-year period, we went from almost zero to being a significant player in the market, and it was just a blast, a rocket ship, hang on for the ride type of a time, and it was really exciting. We learned a lot, and it was just really fun too. And I think the biggest thing we learned through that whole thing was take care of the customer first, take care of the customer, and everything else takes care of itself. Kind of feels like a lot of the apps in the industry have been kind of taken over by finance people and accountants and attorneys, and it's like, what about the customer? I mean, these guys, they just need something to get the results that they're after, and we don't need to milk the crap out of them to do that. We can make it up in volume, and just have a product that the people, I mean, in the early days when we were building PlanSwift, we heard, "I love this software" so many times. And "I love working with you guys" so many times. And it's not just about the app. It's just as much about how we interact with our customers and our partners. And it's like we want to treat them right. We want to treat them well. We want them to stay with us for forever.
And one quick thing I got to say is this is what led to a lot of the magic is sometimes you'll be on the phone, and this happens today with ZZ, but in the old days it used to be you'd be on the phone with the customer and they say, "Hey, can I freehand draw?" And I'd call Heber and say, "Hey, can the customer freehand draw?" And he's, "Hold on just a second." And all of a sudden, right? I tell the customer to refresh, basically reinstall, and he's freehand drawing. He's like, "No way!" And we're doing that more and more now. I mean, we had an example with one of our biggest customers now, renaming their pages. They're renaming their pages. Darren, you remember these guys? And it was like 9 hours from renaming pages in PlanSwift to, we had to, what was it, Darren? 9 hours. The customer requested, "I want to be able to
customer
rename pages
requested
faster" in ZZ. And Heber had this intelligent AI thing going in ZZ within 9 hours after the customer requested it, where you can rename all your pages, 186 pages in 16 seconds. Like that. And then the customer's just like, I'm done. Sign me up. I just want to be with you guys and see where you're going.
Yeah.
That was our first user, right, D? Was that the
That was the
first
second.
user?
Our first guy was Rick Rick from Colorado Civil.
Yeah.
Customer one, they call him.
To be fair, I didn't write all the code for that. I kind of translated it all to the team and kind of helped them with the architecture. I helped with some of the code, but yeah, it's not all credit to me. We do have.
Heber's being really humble. Heber developed AI in this industry
No,
10 years ago. He gave it to
Alien. I smell alien.
No.
Yeah.
I can't take credit for that.
Super brain.
I mean, we did have some pretty innovative stuff though. Like we're trying to find the single click and find the borders of a room and stuff a long time ago. But there's true AI is what we're starting to see today, where it's like true neural nets and that type of stuff, a whole different ball game. But we did have some pretty cool stuff, and we did go from way behind to having what I feel with PlanSwift was a very robust and solid platform in the industry. And it just kind of like you say, you said, Todd, in your email to us, is it feels like a beautiful painting that never got finished.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really good way to put it, because we did put a lot of thought and effort into making it as a platform, and making it expandable, but at the same time, it has to be easy. It has to be easy out of the box. And then it has to, if someone has something they want to make it do, we have to have I like to say, the advanced button. We have to have that advanced button, or wherever it is you can go into the under the hood or whatever, to make it do something
Yes.
that can
Special.
move. Excuse killers is what we
Yeah.
call them.
Well, I have a quick story, and I think you'll find it interesting. PlanSwift reached out to me, excuse me, on Center, and they wanted it in an email to say, well, we want to know what you think of our products. And I said, great, you're not going to like it. And I was real honest with them. And so they set up in a meeting with me, and I was expecting it to be a customer service rep. So in this meeting, I show up and there's like 6 or 7 people in this meeting, and one of them is the CEO president of Construct Connect. One's the marketing digital manager, one's the program manager, one's the sales manager. All these people were sitting there. And I said just exactly what you just kind of put together, is that they have lost touch with the people that are using PlanSwift, that are trying to eke out a living in the construction industry. And that's a tough business to be in these days. And
Yeah.
then you get a software that sits there, installs, and has all kinds of problems because they haven't updated it. And then you start charging more and more and more and more and more for it. I told him, I said, it feels like the Cinderella story where you got the 2 evil sisters, that take everything. And that
Yeah.
would be On Center, ProEst, or whatever. And then the Cinderella is the PlanSwift as, the true genius, that if they would just put some money into it, they could have something special. So I kind of think you guys are making them nervous right now, making everybody nervous.
Wow, that's amazing. They'd all jump on that call with you. To
It was good. I mean, I
Yeah,
respect
that's a
that they
good
did
sign.
that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they definitely are paying attention to what you're doing. I mean, that's to what you're saying. So, your influence in the community is awesome. And
All 100 people.
no, it's way beyond that. It's way
We just got
beyond.
off the
Excited
phone with a
viewers.
customer who learned from you. We just barely got off a meeting with a customer who learned from you, and he brought you up. The
Oh,
hell honored.
neat.
Yeah, a guy in Canada, civil work guy.
So,
And
yeah.
yeah, said nothing but great things about you.
But then, honestly, what you're saying there, Todd, about the customers and the price going up and up and up, that is why we got back in the game. Because over the past 12 years since we sold, so it took us about 6 years from start to finish when we built PlanSwift and then sold it. 6 years. The crazy thing is it's been 12 years since we sold. So 2/3 of the life of PlanSwift has been out of our control, out of our hands. And basically, when we sold it, my thinking was, okay, I'll go explore new ventures. And each of us, we worked on different things for a while. I'll go explore different ventures, try, getting into some hardware devices, some keyboard inventions and things like that.
Yeah.
Try, running various other entrepreneur type stuff, just trying some new startups. Because to me, it's like, okay, this is one chapter of building and selling PlanSwift is like one chapter of life. Like there's as an entrepreneur, there's got to be lots of other new chapters. So in my mind, I never had the idea to get back into takeoffs. And in fact, I went up to visit Derek, like, I don't know how many times, 5 times, driving up to Salt Lake and trying to get Derek involved in some of my other ventures I was working on. And
And I was trying to pull him back into Takeoff.
yeah.
Let's go back into
Good.
Takeoff. You're the Michael Jordan of Takeoff software.
There you go.
Not playing
Good.
baseball. Come back to basketball.
Baseball.
Got to being
No,
a Utah Jazz fan. That wasn't a good analogy to use.
Yeah, don't bring up that one, Derek.
That was a horrible analogy because he said firmly, "No, does the world really need to tell the Takeoff software?" I'm like, well, God, you kind of got me on that. So he was adamant about not going back into it. But when customers started, he started hearing what customers were saying. I don't mean to talk for you, Heber, but
No, you're good. You're good.
but when customers, so it wasn't like I couldn't persuade him to go back into Takeoff. But when customers, he started hearing what customers were saying, they were upset, and there wasn't a better option to jump to. Nobody wanted to go to OnScanner from PlanSwift. There's no way. It's too rigid, and it's too expensive. But people loved PlanSwift, but they wanted it cloud-based, and they wanted the bugs fixed and all that, and it just wasn't happening. So that's when Heber called me up and said, "Hey, I've got this thing going," and checked it out. I was like, "Wait, this is web-based and it's this fast?" Like,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I started, I've got a lot of friends in construction and family, friends and family in construction. And a lot of those people have PlanSwift licenses from the old days. And I just started getting lots of people calling me, or I'm visiting a friend on the weekend at their construction office. And, they're getting, I would say, pretty nasty emails. I don't know if nasty is the right word, but just basically a lot of pressure from Construct Connect to upgrade to the yearly plan, and just people calling me afraid, like, is my license going to shut off? And we start looking on Reddit, and there's a ton of people on there complaining about how they're being treated by Construct Connect. And I just started, like, something snapped inside of me. Like, you know what? This isn't just about milking as much as we can out of these customers. These are our friends. These are our family. These are hardworking contractors.
Yeah.
And the real estate industry and the construction industry was really hot a few years ago. Like, we had a huge jump, and it feels like that a lot of the prices went up, and now a lot of these contractors are kind of begging for mercy, I guess, in pricing. And the next thing I hear, there's another price jump.
And they're taxing them on their revenue now. It's just a different kind of price model that I've never even heard of.
Yeah, other companies are not planning.
Yeah.
But like, just a lot of these contractors, they're telling me how much they're paying per year in software, and my mind is blown. Being that Takeoff is one piece of a big puzzle that people have to put together to be able to run their business. And, there's a lot of money that can be made without, just, I think, overcharging. I just feel like a lot of the products on the market are overcharging. We don't want to come across as cheap. We want to come across as the best value. We want to take care of our customers. We care about our customers. And one comparison I give is Costco. I love Costco. There's a lot of value. You can get great products there. And that's the comparison I bring up a lot is, whenever we buy stuff, if they sell it, that's the primary source I go to, because they have the really great value.
Right.
And that's the kind of trust that we want to get with our customers. And is just to say, hey, if ZZ offers a product, we want to buy it because we like working with those guys. We know we're going to get great value. We know they're going to take care of us. And, we want to apologize for anyone who feels like they're left high and dry when we sold the company. We were hoping they would continue to advance the software, continue to add to it. But, not a lot has been added since we've sold the company. And, there's just a lot of things that I actually was thinking about a year ago, about a year and a half ago. I was actually thinking of contacting Construct Connect and saying, hey, I noticed there hasn't been updates. Do you want to hire me to, do some sort of a contract to maintain and update the PlanSwift software? And I seriously was considering contacting him about that. And I would, in discussing things with friends and family and just other contractors I knew, they're like, it's not about that we just want the software updated. It's just we want to switch off of this working with them. We want to work with you guys. We want to work with a different company. And that is really kind of the tipping point for me is it was like, it's not, these guys are tired of just the price going up, with no updates, to me, they're kind of getting screwed. And some of them on Reddit are using the word that we're being extorted. And it just something snapped for me. And I was just like, hey, Derek, we're getting back in. You want, Derek was one of the first people involved in helping set up a sales team in Salt Lake. So we had a small team at first. Derek came and saw me, and we were discussing things. He was the one that helped us set up the Salt Lake office and turbocharge it there. And he brought in other key players. And just so he was the first person I wanted to talk to. I'll tell a quick story. When we had our guys, we were mostly programmer-ish, technical people. So we didn't really have like a lot of sales experience. And Derek came in, and we were talking about how we could set up a sales office in Salt Lake and stuff. And the phone rang. It started ringing, and he picked it up halfway before the first ring even finished. So if this is Derek, how can I help you today?
Yep.
I knew this is the start of something great. And
So
so
the phone was just ringing and ringing and ringing, and I was like, when I first got there, I was like, what these are people trying to give us money? Like, these are people trying to buy the product, right? Like,
yeah. So
yeah.
he just took it to another level. So, plus, this is Derek. How can I help you? I knew that we were onto something great there. He went up back into Salt Lake, started helping build a team out of his basement. So out of the basement story for the sales.
Okay. It wasn't the garage. It was the basement. Okay.
Yeah. Software was probably built in a garage. The sales team started in a basement.
They're still
Darren
there.
and I were renting a house
Right,
together.
Darren?
Darren and I were working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had
Darren and I
one of
rented
On
a house
Centers.
together. Started there.
Remember Bob Gwynn with On Center when he was working
Bob
for
Gwynn.
On Center?
We used to never win against On Center. We used to lose every deal against On Center, and then after about a year and a half, we never lost to him after that.
Didn't he post that we were in like a office next to like a Smith's
Subway.
grocery store or something like that, like a basement over there? And then we ended up hiring Bob Gwynn. PlanSwift, and he was great.
The whole team from On Center ended up coming over.
Whole team, yeah, that's right.
Not the whole team, but some of them.
I mean, I'm sorry,
Yeah, 4 or
the
5.
sales team. There was a flood, but yeah, it's just
Derek, now you're an estimator. You've been an estimator.
yeah.
I think that is so important as you guys develop this, is have an estimator blood in the system, in the program, in the codes.
Yeah.
Because everybody estimates a little bit different. And I like how you guys are allowing that flexibility from what I've seen so far, what you've done. But if you keep that estimator in mind, saying, okay, he needs to have certain numbers and needs to be consistent and needs to have structure to it and end product. And eventually I hope to see a proposal work through you guys. That's great news. I'm not sure a lot of big companies hire a lot of estimators. And I think it's important to have that pedigree in there.
We learn something new every day from customers. The customer we were just on of yours, who knew you, he was just, I told him, like, you push the limits. You know everything I know about zzTakeoff. I'm not sure where to go with this, but we learn something new talking to estimators every day. Yeah. So, I mean, you think you know it all after 20 years of doing this, but honestly, I would take a fresh approach to every call, every support call or whatever, a demo differently. I just try to keep an open mind and listen, because it's like, how are you doing things now? And then we'll show you how to do it in this platform. So we got to have the structure, like you said, but we've also got to be flexible as Excel, but then you got to have structure where you got to, be able to update your pricing and stuff a lot easier than you can. But yeah, it's just learning. We learn so much from our customers every day, and our best demo people are the ones who don't try to teach our customers what to do. They're the best ones that are like, tell me what you're doing now, and then I'm going to try to show you how to do it here. You know what I mean? So that's how we develop the software too, is like so quickly, because then I'll get on with Heber and say, hey, can we do this or that? And boom, like it's in there. I mean, he's so responsive to have a developer that responsive to customers. I think that's what creates the magic, really. And that's what we've been selling so far this year because our development team is just awesome. So like
it's all driven by the customers. I mean, I love spending time in the community right now on our app, because customers are posting all kinds of amazing feedback on there. And so literally I consider myself kind of like a translator, translate what they're asking for to the programming team. And a translator and an architect is what I consider myself right now. But, back on the point of hiring Derek, and he's got estimating experience, I think that is something that we almost accidentally did that was a huge impact on the success of PlanSwift, where a lot of people that put out a request to hire someone, they look through resumes, whatever. A lot of our sales and training guys were estimators first, and part of them coming onto the team was they were a customer first, so they already had buy-in. And then they were excited about what we were doing, wanted to be part of the team. Derek, Mike Ramsey, we have Matt Miller, a bunch of these guys are estimators. And so, as it took off, the fact that a lot of these estimators wanted to jump on board really helped to turbocharge everything, because which I say kind of an accident in the sense that I didn't realize at the time how big of an impact that would have.
Yeah.
But looking back now, I can see that was a major catalyst for helping us.
That's part of the secret sauce. I just sent Ramsey a text, by the way, and I said, "Hey, you want to pick up the bags and come back to work? Because they're really busy." I just did right before this meeting. Are you ready? I love Ramsey. He's great. He's a great tech. Customers and just super knowledgeable. And
I learned a lot from him. Aaron Watts was great too. Aaron helped me get
Aaron's
going.
another one, yeah.
I've tried to reach him. I haven't been able to reach Aaron. Yeah. But that's one of the things, we just take the noisiest customers, the ones who are giving us the most headache, and then we just hire them. If you know more than us, then come on board and join us. You know what I mean? Well, come help us build this.
We got to a point where when we start contacting customers, they would say, "You're not hiring my estimator, right? We will buy the software, but you cannot hire my estimator."
Oh, well, you guys, you talked about riding the wave. The second time you ride that wave, if you're a surfer or a business, you seem to know which way the wave's going to go, how big it is, and all that, which direction you have to. So that really is going to help you as you guys ride this next wave through zzTakeoff. What do you got planned for the future?
Oh, it's exciting. I mean, first and foremost, our top plan is to just build what customers ask. So, I mean, really, everyone in the community is telling us, "Hey, can you add this? Can you add that? Can you make it? We want the ability to search the plans." I mean, that's a simple feature. We want the ability to, select symbols, AI auto count. There's a lot of tools that have been developed while we've been out of the takeoff industry that have added a lot of cool things. Sadly, not many of those features are in PlanSwift, but I think that there's we're catching this huge wave of the shift to online. And really quick, before we get into the whole online thing, back in the PlanSwift days, shortly before we sold, customers were asking us about, we were on PlanSwift version, I think 9.5 or 9 point something. And someone was asking me, "Okay, what's going to be in PlanSwift 10? And I told him, this is one of our bigger customers, I says, "There won't be a PlanSwift 10, it'll be PlanSwift Online version 1.
Nice.
And, the idea back then was, hey, everything is shifting online. But looking back, I think that thought was a little premature. The browsers, speed in the browsers, the frameworks in the browsers for JavaScript and so forth have advanced so much between then and now that looking back, that was probably a bit premature to just go cold turkey online at that time. But in discussions with some of the guys, when I finally decided, hey, I gotta build another takeoff tool. I started asking a lot of these guys like what they would like to see. My initial thought was to build another desktop-based app. Because I had been out of the industry, I didn't have a lot of feedback to go on for what product to create, and a lot of them were saying, well, if it can be web-based, it would be incredible. But the thing that scares us about web-based is if it's going to be slow. We just don't. If you could get the desktop speed in a web-based app, that would be the winner. And so that's really, and I was hearing that from people that I expected would kind of push us to keep it as a desktop app. And so, we have gotten a few people say, well, what about offline access and stuff? But the value to a customer having web-based, obviously if you don't have internet access, you get Starlink, or you can get internet
Your
almost
cell phone, you
anywhere.
can link it to your cell
Yeah.
phone. You
You
know,
can get
hotspot on your
phone.
cell phone. So
It's less and less of an issue, and there is some people that have an issue with it. For the most part, it's been received with open arms to go web-based. So we're hoping to catch this whole wave of users that are going from desktop to web-based. They want the collaboration features.
yeah,
They
the
want
advantages of web-based. I wish we could do a demo on these web-based features right now. I wish we would.
Well,
We could invite each other to a product, and we're all working the same job. It's really it changes the whole game.
yeah. I mean, we could show one maybe after or something, but I think on this call, like with just the talking format, it's probably
Yeah, it's
just to finish out this call that way. But I think like and we have a lot of frameworks we had built through the years that me and on our team had built from on the development side, that we're able to piggyback on and really turbocharge what we're doing with the real time aspect of it. And we were super excited how it kind of just clicked together. And everyone can see where everyone else is on the plan in real time. No need to refresh the page. Point and click. You can have 5 people, 10 people all in the plan. You can see where their mouse is.
Wow.
You can see
one
them
person's
drawing.
creating parts and assemblies, one person's setting scales, one person's cropping pages, naming pages.
Wow.
It is so much faster. It's like a team putting together a puzzle instead of just you putting together a puzzle by yourself. It is so much faster. It changes the whole game. It really does. I didn't even realize it until I was about 3 weeks into ZZ, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a totally different market now.
Yeah.
You can see it right there on the website. If you go to zzTakeoff.com, you can see on the website. So a guy can be in the field. What I love about it, and I show this on our demonstrations, is a guy can be in the field on his phone, and the estimator in the office can be doing takeoff and communicating with that guy in real time, in live action. And people see that on the demonstration. They're like, that's huge. They don't have to email plans back and forth and wait. They just see it all happening. So
That's incredible.
it's a big hit.
That is incredible.
Yeah, so these companies like Bluebeam are like adding to the clutter, as Heber put it, just adding to the clutter by printing these PDFs and emailing them all over the place, where it's like we invite people into the plans to work in on the plans. It's a totally different concept in how to do estimating and takeoffs. It's where people come together to do it in real time. It's everyone's skill sets improve when you're working together. When you have the boss of a company, the owner of a company, who can just pull out his phone and see, it's called Takeoff TV, like, oh, I can see everyone doing a takeoff right now. See it all. I can watch my whole company coming together. And then he can it's like TV, but you can participate and you can advise. You can join the conversation. You know what I mean? So he can just get in there and start letting people know, oh, here, I've found this, I've found that. And everyone's skill level just increases when they work together on these projects.
That's sweet. That is sweet.
Really, I didn't even anticipate any of these side effects, but they're beautiful side effects. We want more people to know about it. It's our biggest problem. Is our number one request. I got to say this: our top request from customers last month was, you guys have got to let more people know about this software.
Yeah,
more people need to know this exists, and that's what we're fighting right now. Like, none of us are really marketing experts, but we got such a beautiful product, and how do we let the world know? Like, it's just one at a time through referrals and.
Videos like this. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anyone out there watching this is a marketing expert, give us a call.
I'm hoping it'll help you guys out. Now, speaking of unfold, are you guys able to sell to overseas?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then one of the things I'm seeing too in the industry is integrations. Generally, there's some really nice, expensive project management softwares that people tend to use or buy or whatever. Are you guys getting ready to publish any integrations?
We are diving into that right now. So just a little side story is one of the other apps that we were working on through this time period is called zzBots. It's an automation software, a lot like Zapier or If This Then That type of a product with a built-in database. So we have a lot of experience with integrating apps. We're integrated with 70 apps there, which is small compared to a lot of the other apps out there, because they've got a lot more funding than we do. But bootstrapped, we're up to 70 integrations, and so we've got a whole concept and an understanding of how, especially how to integrate with web-based apps. So we're going to build what we call the integration builder for zzTakeoff. And we're really excited. Now that we just got this release out, that is our top two focuses right now is we got to build out our integration platform and we've got to focus on AI. We get a lot of questions about where we're going with AI. And a lot of what we've worked on so far is building out the framework for AI to work with. I mean, it's got to have the ability to add items or to start a takeoff or maybe give it voice commands to jump to different pages and whatever the abilities that the AI has, it has to have a framework to operate within. So, a lot of value will be added by AI, but I would say that almost the more difficult part is building the framework for that AI to operate in. And so that's we expect a lot of AI features coming soon here down the pipe.
That's exciting. I'm scared to death about it, but I'm excited about it. I still believe that Trimble is a big part of this with their BIMs or their BIM models. That you can take an AutoCAD file that has been created using those models and then just import them right into an estimating software. How many of these, how many of those, how many screws, how many washers, what kind are they, what's the model number, just everything, and just spit it out, just like boom, which would make estimating a lot easier, but it would make it estimators would be more of a programmer than anything.
Yeah.
And people like Derek and myself would go into the wind, type of thing.
We've had a lot of people who did that, and they reel it back. I think Cost OS or something went with a 3D something, and they had to pull it back because the demand seems to be there with the desire to have 3D, to view it, to make sure everything's coming together right.
Yeah.
But then using it seems to be a little bit of a different game. It's very complex.
The biggest challenge with the 3D is that you have so many different apps that are generating the 3D data, and then you have so many different people formatting that data in different ways that for an estimator to use it, he's got to get that data in some sort of a reliable and consistent format. And when you get a project from, one source and another from another source and another from another source, and this data, not only from different apps, but from different people who have configured those apps completely different, that's the biggest challenge is that it's not, it will be too much headache in the current structure. And obviously it will evolve to this for sure. There's no question. There's no question.
Well, Trimble bought Bid to Win, as I understand. So that's kind of an interesting relationship or purchase in that respect, but I imagine that's years down the road, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, when we were selling PlanSwift, BIM was such a huge buzzword, and we would talk to huge companies, estimating companies, because we would want to integrate. Hey, we've got a great takeoff. Can we integrate with your estimating? And we'd get brushed off. Like we're nobody compared to all the other established companies. And one of the first questions is, do you do BIM? And it's like this big buzzword that everybody dreams of, but that's so far from reality, especially back then. Today we're way closer, and I think there's got to be like this transition period, and so 2D takeoff will be here for a while, for sure, to fill that gap.
Good. I've got a few more years left of me. I'm ready to keep going.
Let's do it.
Well, I've had you on here for about 45 minutes. I do have a couple of more things, but have you got anything that you'd like to say before we close out? Or, I mean, you've said a lot. It's very positive. It's exciting. I see where you're going, and I think people will relate to it and be connecting to you hopefully soon.
I would just say we're excited to be back, and we're hoping to establish so that when a customer starts working with us, buys the software, joins our community, we want them to feel like they've entered the fun zone. we're obviously here to make money as well. But it's not just that. Like you see a lot of people who they billionaires, they make their money, they retire. It's not very long before they're back to working again.
Yeah.
You find out that a lot of people when we're growing and people building a career or building a business, they want to hit the big sale, and they want to work really hard so that they can retire someday and never work again. And that's just a myth, because you find almost anyone who has hit the point where they never have to work again, they're always back because there's something about creating things that drives people. And I mean, I guess they have the advantage that they get to work because they want to, not because they have to. But for us, it's like we want to be where we can wake up every day, work on things that are fun to work on,
Yeah.
and based on the user feedback, and work with people that we want to work with. And contractors are just in general great people. It's just a fun industry.
Yeah, that's what makes it all worth it. Just the interaction with contractors and customers are they're the best people. You're going to be having a rough day, and then all of a sudden you're talking with a contractor, and I don't know, there's just something about it. Just good people. Like, it makes you happy to be working with them. Just want to help them out. Yeah, it's funny, Darren. I mean, I don't want to say anybody here is working for free, but there's a lot of passion behind this company, and I think that there should be a lot of. You said that there was a little fear or something behind Construct Connect. I'm not sure if they're afraid of us or not, but I would be kind of terrified if I had a competitor where so many people are willing to go work there for free just to be part of the process of building this thing. Not free, maybe
Well, we're
equity partner, something
investing.
like that.
Yeah.
You're investing your time,
Yeah, and
we're doing some
Darren's
shares,
up at 6
we're doing
a.m.
some shares and things to incentivize the team. But honestly, a lot of the people that are helping here are helping to bootstrap it from the ground, and everyone that does that's going to be rewarded for sure.
Yeah, Darren's here at 6 a.m. and leaves at 6 p.m. if at all. He's on the phone at 9 p.m.
And a lot of
never asked for anything. He's just passion, and I think I would be terrified.
A lot of the reason behind that too is coming back. And thanks for saying that, D. A lot of it's coming back working with these customers again. I mean, like Hebert mentioned, I feel like I went through like a 10-year time warp, and I'm back on the phone with these guys. I'm like, oh man, I love these guys. I forgot how much I loved working with these guys. And that's one of the things that kicked it off PlanSwift for me, because I didn't know PlanSwift was going to be a temporary stop in the beginning. But after a few months of talking with these guys, I just loved it. I mean, I'd get up, like Derek said, I'm an early bird, so I get up at 6 a.m. and start making these calls, and it just gets you energized. And you knew you were doing right by them. That was another big thing, is to see, going from working with Derek in the basement doing these takeoffs on paper blueprints, which I thought was a nightmare, to being able to point and click and go, man, this thing really is helping people. It's really helping people, and you can feel that from them too. So it's rewarding, big time, and it's exciting to be back. So
yeah.
People are desperate. They're desperate for this. I deal with people contacting me all week, and you sense that desperosity. I don't know if that's even a word. Okay,
relief.
But it's just like they need help. This isn't getting in PlanSwift to where they need it to be. How do they do that? Type stuff. And I'm like you guys too. All these people I deal with, all my customers as I travel around, and my contacts, they're more of a friend than I have physical friends.
Yeah.
We just talk on the phone. We'll gab. It is a neat community. You hit the nail on the head. Estimators and construction people are generally great people, and they want to do good work, and they just want to put together proper bids.
Yeah, it's been fun. And and I will add, we have, as we've been working on this, we have had a decent number of companies contact us wanting to invest or wanting to fund us to get us to take off big and whatever. And we've turned down all of them because not because we don't think it could help us, but because we want the ability to work on what we feel like is the best for the customer, and we want the ability to wake up in the morning saying, what cool new thing can we build for our customers?
Right.
Not be tied down to a bunch of corporate, are you going to hit your quarterly numbers?
That's right.
We don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Right. Good for you guys. Yeah, that's going to make a huge difference. Huge difference. Well, I just have one more comment. You guys, Heber, you've been doing this for 20 plus years, or almost 20 years. You haven't aged. Are you an alien? You know, we just have to know. You have to tell the truth. Are you an alien? Are you a pod person? You haven't got any older.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
He's an Elon Musk type.
Well, guys, thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to see what you're doing, to get to meet you guys, to hear the story. I feel like a kid that just walked into a locker room with the LA Lakers. Well, not the Lakers, the Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz.
There you go.
The old Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an honor to be part